right, so we're going to be talking about variation. If it is direct variation, it gets written like a linear function where the constant of variation, k, is like our slope. If it is inversely proportional, or it varies inversely, then we write it like a rational function. This is the constant of variation. We are going to practice writing formulas and then using values that we've been given along with our formulas to find the constant of variation. On the homework for this, and I've already seen it happen a couple of times, so I just want to clarify right now, the things that you will be giving me, first you will write the formula. No numbers, only variables and operations like squared, square root, division, whatnot. And then you're going to find k. There are 6 questions on the homework. Each question is worth 3 points. There's 2 points for writing the formula part, 1 point for finding your k value. It's not always going to be x's and y's. They're going to use different variable names. We're going to know where to put it based on how they've organized the sentence. Something varies directly or something varies inversely. That something will be on a side by itself. If it varies directly as x, it's going to get multiplied, or it will become part of the numerator. If it varies inversely, it will go down in the denominator. We're going to get our first example up here in just a moment. You guys okay if I put the first example up? All right. We're going to do 7 example problems. So we're going to do 1 more than what you have on the homework. It tells me that U is directly proportional to. So U is going to go on a side by itself. So I'm going to have a U equals formula here. After the equal sign, it doesn't matter whether it's directly proportional or inversely proportional. Right after the equal sign is where you're going to see your constant of variation, k. What we had from the previous screen is directly proportional, is y is equal to kx. Instead of the letter x, what variable are we using here? Directly proportional to v. That is my formula. So if this was a homework question, that would be my first answer. When you go to do the homework, the equal sign will already be there, and the k will already be there. I want you to fill in the other pieces. So which variable is on a side by itself, and what's going on after the k. After I get that formula written, they give me some other information, and I will use that other information to find what k is. What are they giving me to work with? v equals 30 and u equals 12. So I'm going to substitute 12 in the place of u. And I'm going to substitute 30 in the place of v. And then I'm going to get k by itself. What do I need to do to get k by itself? Divide both sides by 30. Is that going to reduce 12 over 30? Yep. Divide both of them by 6, and I get 2/5. So that would be the second answer that I'd be looking for on the homework. First thing I want is the formula. Second thing I want is the value for k. Only the value for k should have numbers. Your formula is not going to have numbers at all, only variables. So far, so good? All right. Let's look at example B. It says R varies directly as x or as s and inversely as t. Which variable goes on a side by itself? R. R goes on a side by itself. So I have R equals as the beginning of my formula. Right after the equal sign, I always put what? K. R equals K. It varies directly as S. So S is going to be in my numerator, because then it also says what? And how does it vary with t? Inversely. So that means t goes in my denominator. There's my formula. Yep. And then, after we write the formula, we will find k. But the first thing I'm going to want on all the homework is the formula. No numbers, just formulas. Variables and operations. How can I use the information that they gave me in the second sentence to find k? Tell me what to sub in and where. Put in 7 for R. What else can I do? -2 for S. And +4 for T. Will that reduce at all? -1/2. I'm going to bring my work over here because I'm kind of running out of space. I'm afraid I'm going to get too low on the screen. 7 equals K times -1/2. How can I get the K by itself? Multiply both sides by -2. So -2 cancels with my -1/2 there. What is K then? -14. So far, so good? Do you guys have any questions for me so far? Let's do 2 more examples. Give me just a second and I'll get those up on the screen. Oh shoot, I lost part of my answer there. Come on. There we go. Y is directly proportional to the square of x and inversely proportional to the cube of z. Which variable is on a side by itself? Y. So I'm going to have y equals, right after the equal sign we have k. Do I need a fraction? Yes. How do you know? Because it's directly and inversely. The directly part goes in my numerator. So what goes in my numerator? x squared. And what goes in my denominator? Cube of z. So what does that look like? Z to the third power. Not the cubed root of z, the cube of z. So there's my formula. Please remember on the formula part, I do not want any numbers substituted in. Then we need to find k. What am I putting in and where?
You're putting in 25
25 for y,
equals k minus 5 squared
and then 5 squared
over 3 cubed.
over 3 cubed. So I've got 25 equals k times 25 over 27. Best way for me to get rid of that 25 over 27? Multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply by 27 over 25 on both sides. It's going to cancel out here so that I get the k all by itself. What happens on the left? The 25s cancel out. So k is 27. That is our third example problem. That's the equivalent of half your homework. We're going to do D together, and then you guys are going to do the next two on your own. Which one's on a side by itself? Z. So I have Z equals what? K. And then? X.
Y cubed.
Very close. There's one little thing missing. What's missing? Squared. On which part? X. Both of these are varying directly, so there is no denominator this time. Square of x, so x squared, and the cube of y, so y cubed. There's my formula. Let's find k.
How do we, wait,
Mm-hmm.
so what is the product part of it going?
What does product mean?
Multiply.
Multiply. So what pieces are being multiplied together?
K and X.
It's proportional to the product of what?
Square of X.
Square of x. So the product of x squared and
Cube of Y.
cube of y. So we're going to multiply the x squared and the cube of y. And then because it's directly proportional, that also gets multiplied to k.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Somewhat.
Okay. If it said the quotient, then we would divide those things.
So then why did we divide it, but it didn't say quotient in the other ones?
It said inversely proportional.
Okay.
Whenever you see inversely proportional, that means you're going to have a fraction.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. What are we subbing in to find k?
16 for Z.
16 for z. And then I have k, and then what?
Negative 2 squared.
Negative 2 squared.
And 7 cubed.
Are we sure about this?
7 squared and negative
7 squared. Why 7 squared?
2.
X equals 7. And negative 2 cubed. It's okay. All right. 7 squared.
49.
49. So I have k times 49 times, what is negative 2 cubed? Negative 8. I can multiply the 49 and the negative 8 together. And then I'm going to divide both sides by that, right? I'm going to keep it as 2 pieces because I noticed something interesting. That's going to cancel, that's going to cancel. What do you notice right here? Yep. 16 divided by negative 8 comes out to be negative 2. So K is what? Negative 2 over 49. If I had multiplied those two together and then divided and reduced, it would take me a lot longer. I'd still get the right answer, but it's going to take a lot more work. All right. You guys okay if I put the next 2 examples up? All right, we've only got 3 more to go. I want you guys to do these 2 on your own, and then we'll compare answers. I want the formula, and I want the K value. Give me the formula first, and then the K value. On part E, what is my formula?
Y equals X over Z squared.
Yes. Y equals K times X over Z squared. What is my value for K?
36.
36 is absolutely correct. We'd put 16 in for Y. In the place of X, we're going to put 4. In the place of Z, we put 3, so we have 3 squared. So I have 16 equals K times 4/9. Multiply both sides by 9 over 4. So this side cancels out. On the 9 divided by 4 times 16 side, I can reduce that, and I have 9 times 4, so K is 36. What is the formula for part F? Z what?
Cube.
Cubed. Why cubed?
Because it says cube.
Because it says cube of Z. And over here it said square root of x, not square of x. So square root of x. That is my formula. Absolutely correct. And what did we get for k?
40 over 3.
40 over 3 is correct. I have 5 equals k times the square root of 9 over 2 cubed. So I have 5 equals k times 3 over 8. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 8/3. There are no common factors, so I can't reduce that down at all. And I get k equals 40 over 3. There is one last problem that we have as an example. And then we are done with chapter 4. And you guys have the remainder of the class time to work on this homework. You should be able to get that knocked out. I'm going to pass back your quizzes. If you guys have any questions over the review, I'm happy to answer those questions as well. Last example problem. Formula first, k second. Formula first, k second. And don't forget on the homework, I don't want you substituting numbers into the formula part. Just write the formula for me like we've been doing at the beginning of all of these. When it says exact value of k, that means leave it in fraction form. Fully reduced, but don't take it into decimal form. What is my formula? Over y cubed. Perfect. And then for part B, what is the constant of variation? How much? 20/3. Yes, sorry, I thought I heard you say 21/3, and I was like, that's not right, and it would reduce. Yep, we'd have 5 equals k, and then the square root of 36 over 2 cubed. So I would have 5 equals k times 6 over 8, but 6 over 8 reduces, right? To 3/4. So 5 equals, and I ran out of room there. 5 equals k times 3/4. So I would multiply both sides by 4/3. And that's how I get k is equal to 20/3. So on the homework, what are the two things that I want? Yes, I want the formula. I already have given you the equal sign. I've already put the K in. So I want the left side and the right side of the formula. And then I want your value for K. I'm going to pass back your quizzes from last week so you guys can see how you did. They are not in Canvas or in Skyward yet, so I will need those back from you. You guys are welcome to work on either the homework or the review for the test. One last note. Good news, bad news time. Bad news first. You guys know I've been dealing with some ongoing health issues, right? My eye has been the most recent thing. If you want to see the gruesome details, I'll happily show them to you. They were able to get me into a specialist tomorrow, so I'm going to be out tomorrow, which is your only review day for the test. However, I got confirmation earlier today that you will have a substitute, and it is a former math teacher, so he will be able to answer questions for you. It's Mr. Greenlee, if you've ever had him before. He will be able to answer questions for you. Also, I will be available via Canvas. As long as I'm not actually sitting talking to the doctor, I'm happy to respond back to you guys. You can send me pictures, you can send me questions, you can send me voice memos, whatever it is that you need to study for the test. The review, I will have the answers up before the end of the day today. And by tomorrow, I will have my worked out solutions in a separate file. So if you just want to check your answers against mine, that'll be up by the end of the day today. Tomorrow, I will have my complete work shown. All right? Please let me know if you guys need anything else at all.